Oh, here we are continuing on this whole Amazon KDP series. You thought there was an end to it, but no, there's a lot of demand. There's a lot of questions, and I've got a ton of answers for you. But actually, there's some other people who have answers for you. And that's actually what I'm going to be discussing in today's podcast. It's the 10 best Amazon KDP resources and channels that I personally endorse. Make sure that you stay tuned. What's happening is Dale here, and I'm just tickled to death. You took a little bit of time out your day to spend a little bit of time with me, talk about my favorite thing in self-publishing. You know, folks, I have to say a very big thank you to the fine folks over at Miblart, our sponsors, not only for the fact that they're sponsoring this channel, but also the amazing cover work that they did for my Kindle Vella series. I actually did the whole video on it over on my main channel. You can take a look at it at dalelinks.com/YouTube, where I got a new cover designer and they just knocked the ball out the park. But in all seriousness, folks, I would really just implore that you actually check out Miblart. And it's a book cover design company for indie authors. And their mission is to help each and every author out there turn their book cover into the #1 marketing tool for them. That's why they keep their prices super affordable and provide authors with such benefits as unlimited revisions, first book cover design concept in just 5 days, no prepayment for photo manipulated covers, and 100% satisfaction guarantee. Hey, if you ain't happy with the work, you just ask for a full refund and go about their business. But for more details, go over and visit my preferred book cover design services, Miblart, when you visit dalelinks.com/Miblart. That's Miblart. dalelinks.com/Miblart. Use that affiliate link. And you know what? I'm going to hook you up with a 10% off coupon. If you use Dale10, that's Dale10. You got to do it all caps. You got to shout it at them because otherwise they aren't paying attention to you. So Dale10, when you go over to dalelinks.com/Miblart, love their Vella design services. I plan on utilizing them for quite a few other ones as well. Hey, folks, we're going to be going into 10 of these resources for self-publishing and Amazon KDP. And you can actually use this not just limited to Amazon KDP, but you're going to find some of these resources are fantastic. I'm going to start out with number 1. The very first one is Google Alerts. I didn't know about this till probably like 4 or 5 years ago when I was having a chat with my content manager, Ava Fales. And she said to me, hey, did you see this article online that was about you? And I was like, what? How did you find that? It was through Google Alerts. Now, you can just literally look up, I think, Google Alerts. It might be alerts.google.com. It could be google.com/alerts. I don't know. Just Google it up. So what you do is you will put in a specific keyword or phrase. So let's say Amazon KDP, or your author name. Let's say Dale L. Roberts, or whatever your name might be. You can go ahead and put that in and do as many variations as you wish. And then what you can do is set up the timer to where you get a daily report or a weekly report. For me, I always get a weekly report because I just don't want to have my inbox cluttered up with 50,000 notifications based on each one of the keywords that I've pulled for the week. But I will tell you, Google Alerts has been one of the best ways, and I've had to do a lot of sifting. Ain't lying, it's a free service. So if you end up doing Google Alerts, to find out more information about Amazon KDP and self-publishing, just be ready. You're going to find some just weird things that just fall into your inbox. And don't worry, it's not going to be any kind of illicit links. Google's not going to be sending you that type of stuff. But sometimes I'm like, why is this? What? I don't understand why they sent this. That's okay, because there's another service out there that I really lean on now. It's number 2, Scribbando. Now, I've talked about Scribbando many times before. In fact, I actually do a news segment over on my YouTube podcast channel where I cover a lot of the latest news and updates in the world of self-publishing. I've got to thank Scribbando quite a bit for that. I don't even probably pull maybe 2-3 pieces out per newsletter because out of respect to the team over at Scribbando, I'm not trying to undermine what they're trying to do, which is, hopefully get paid. Now, it is at a higher premium, about $25 per month. You get pretty much, it'll be like, I think about 1 email per week. But when they do send out the email, it's curated pieces of information that are organized according to how it pertains to a self-published author. Is it marketing and promotion? Is it tips about writing? Is it tips for editing? It'll break it down to videos, blog posts, articles. Anytime something is new and breaking, Scribbando automatically sends out an email. Like, it is really cool. So if you don't feel like fooling around with Google alerts and having to deal with all the sifting and curating of the content for self-publishing on Amazon KDP, then go with Scribbando. They lean heavily into the marketing side of things. Like, they want to show you and equip you with all the opportunities that are available out there to make your business better through marketing and promotion. So that's why you're going to go, $25. I'm not sure. Go check it out. Take a look. I'm not going to give you a link, but it's at scribbando.com. Have fun. All right. So next one up, number 3. This is actually comes at a little bit of a lower premium, but it still has high value. It is the hot sheet. Now, the hot sheet was something I discovered through the Alliance of Independent Authors as a member. A little foreshadowing much? You'll see. Any rate, part of their deals and discounts I had discovered says the hot sheet, and it said by Jane Friedman. Now, if you don't know the name Jane Friedman, she is huge, big. She's a big author within not just trad pub or traditional publishing, but also self-publishing. She's very well regarded, highly regarded, super intelligent. Honestly, I love everything that Jane puts out. Take a look at her website, janefriedman.com, and you'll see exactly what I mean. But for the hot sheet, it's similar to the last product that I was talking about. But with the hot sheet, it's more long form content. It's almost like when you get an email, they're going to give you all the links to all the necessary resources. They cite all of their sources, and so they're not just sending you out some weird email, just giving you a bunch of anecdotes and theories. Jane's actually curating some excellent advice through online and then boiling it down into nice blog-sized posts. So each email they send out on a weekly basis, if I can recall, is it's a lot to consume. In fact, I will spend the entire week just trying to read the entire thing because there's that much information. And it's, by the way, it's $56 per year, $56. And by the way, if you're like an Ally member, I think it's like $10 off or something like that. To be honest with you, at $56 per year, it was definitely a worthy investment for me because I've discovered and found some of the greatest resources so far. Let's transition over to one of the spaces I have yet to tap into in this list here, and it's on YouTube. And I'm going to mention a lot of YouTube resources because that's where I consume a lot of my content. I don't know what it is. I like the visual aspect, I like how simple it is to browse for things. So number 4 is Derek Murphy. Now, Derek Murphy is like a mad scientist. And when you see him, you know, he's got that wild hair. And this is not me making fun or poking fun, but he's got some wild hair going on. He's a very relaxed, reserved guy. So when you see my high energy over on my YouTube channel, don't expect that over on Derek's channel. Like, he's super chill. And every video feels like a conversation with a friend. So don't expect to go over to see his videos and see, you know, super polished, you know, jump cuts and, you know, big B-roll shots and things like that. No, Derek just turns on the camera and he just riffs. And it's great. It's great. It's different. It's a refreshing approach to things. And I think to this day, Derek's one of my favorite YouTubers, you know, out there. I think he's highly, highly underrated and underutilized. More people need to pay attention to Derek Murphy because he is just chock full of information and personal insights. I found out very early about some of the issues with KDP account terminations through Derek's content. And he'd actually ran into an issue where he had his account suspended because somehow when he had went to publish wide, he wanted to go exclusive. He removed every avenue that he could, but one avenue for some reason went unchecked. He didn't notice it, but Amazon did. And so they came in there, slapped him on his hand, said, don't do that. But you find out that information. His website's called Creative Indie. You can always just even search up Derek Murphy. Also look up DIY book covers. This part, I'm telling you, man, I have so much fun watching people do this anyways, is creating great covers for, you know, books. And Derek Murphy's amazing. Oh my gosh, he's amazing. His course for DIY book covers over DIYbookcovers.com, I think it is. He creates covers in Microsoft Word. What kind of wizardry is this here, Derek? Seriously, man. And it's amazing. You watch it, and I tried doing it. Forget about it. Nailed it? No, not at all. But Derek is fantastic. Go check him out. I'm going to tell you that if you're expecting a super, quick cut and things like that, and something that's super polished, you're not going to see it. But when it comes to the information, though, packed to the rim. All right, next up, oh my gosh, you know what? I feel like this next one is very similar to the last one. Number 5 is the Creative Pen, aka Joanna Penn. And Joanna is just a delight. She's actually a former guest here on the Self-Publishing with Dale podcast. And she was actually on my bucket list of individuals I wanted to have an interview and a conversation with. And there's for good reason. Her books are absolutely stellar. All her books on self-publishing is just impeccable. It is literally the blueprint. If you stop paying attention to me, that's fine. I totally get it. I understand. But please, just come back and visit every now and then. But go over to her books. Her books are great. Like, she has covered everything under the sun. In fact, so much so when I reached out to Joanna and asked that I could have a conversation about self-publishing, she was like, I kind of feel like I've said it all. She's like, I'm done talking about self-publishing. And she had really pivoted more to discussing things like writing and futuristic concepts like artificial intelligence and such. But she has a massive brand because there's a video podcast on YouTube. There's an audio podcast. She has a website. She has tons of books. Joanna Penn is one of the greatest self-publishing resources. But when I think about Joanna Penn, my brain goes over to somebody else that I consider one of the most trustworthy people that's over the pond, if you will. And that's number 6, David Gaughran. Now, David Gaughran, when I first stumbled over him, I had saw him doing punch down content, not only through Twitter, but over on his website on scammers, perceived scammers and ne'er-do-wells and some bad acting. And like, that was my first exposure to him. And I remember at the time, I think there is something to be said about people holding the business accountable. But then there is sometimes I feel almost like an over-policing of things. But the more I started to pay attention to David, the more I understood that he wasn't policing anything, that all he was doing is providing a spotlight to instances that people need to put questions to. Now, that's not his brand, though, because his brand, he's got a funny sense of humor, quick-witted. And he never takes them super seriously. Like, it's amazing. But he's got a website that has an unending supply of just content, and it's just really cool because it's sharing a lot of his anecdotes and personal insights. I think that's kind of cool because David is an author who has just absolutely annihilated on Amazon KDP. And so it's a person that you definitely want to take a look at. And speaking of taking a look at, go to his YouTube channel. Now, he's much like Derek Murphy. The videos aren't very polished. I think he just goes live and just even leaves like the dead space in the front of it because I don't think he cares. He just shows up to give you what the information you need to know. And he doesn't really have to worry about B-rolls or jump cuts and things like that. I love it because when you actually watch one of his videos, you see his quick wits, right there on the spot. And I think he only ever just goes on to each one of the videos with a rough understanding of what he's going to say. But beyond that, check out his book series called Let's Get Publishing. I've read every single one of those books. I feel like it's mandatory reading for everybody in the business. You can skip BookBub ads if you don't plan on using that platform, but Amazon Decoded, Let's Get Digital, by the way, it's 100% free. And Strangers to Superfans, just fantastic series, really good. My favorite so far has been Amazon Decoded because you understand how Amazon functions as a platform as well as the search engine algorithms that they employ. Going forward to another YouTube content creator, number 7. This one is not for the faint of heart. It's not for those that get easily triggered, if you will. It's number 7, Jenna Moreci. Now, I think her channel is now called Writing with Jenna Moreci, but you will find her. It's Moreci. Now, Jenna, I've been following for a number of years, and I've seen her brand just explode. I think she's somewhere between 200 or 300,000 subscribers. People love her, and it's for good reason. She is super authentic. She gives, first of all, great advice on writing and some publishing. I think the writing aspect of things is really cool. And you also get clues on how she treats marketing and promotion just by watching her videos. And I think that's really the neat thing. She has super polished videos, by the way, really good. Now, she has her content sprinkled with a lot of snarkiness. And I mean a lot. And if you get offended by crass language, any expletives, things like that, you may not want to tune in, because she just sprinkles that on like, ooh, man, I'm going to just pour some salt right over top of this. You could stop shaking the salt. Nope, you could stop. Okay, I guess we're having that much salt today. But you know what? It's well-placed expletives, and that's why I've learned to appreciate it. Just giving you a heads up, though. Next one is, I'm going to tell you, the next few are the absolute best resources, in my opinion. And this next one is number 8, the Alliance of Independent Authors. Now, this is a nonprofit organization based out of the UK. It's run by indie authors for indie authors. And what they do is they have a code of ethics, this coat of arms, if you will, in which people gather together for one common purpose that is good for the entire community of indie authors. And, you know, even if you don't get a paid membership with them, getting the free access is one of the best ways. In fact, there are a number of years, I just kept kicking their tire. I kept going, I don't want to pay for the premium. I don't want to pay for the premium. And I was like, I started feeling guilty because, man, they gave some great stuff for free. Subscribe to the email newsletter. That'll be the very first thing I'd recommend, because they send out some fantastic emails with all of the information they've been sharing over the past week. It's like a weekly newsletter. Not bad. The other one is the watchdog list that they have together. Now, this is put together by a gentleman named John Doppler. And John goes and looks at different products, services, and companies related to self-publishing. And based on the code of ethics that the Alliance of Independent Authors puts together, he looks and sees, are these services or companies in alignment with that code of ethics? Are they somewhat displaced, or are they completely out of that circle into some dangerous territory that nobody would recommend? And that part's kind of nice. There is no buying your way onto that list and getting a better placement. In fact, I had a conversation with the founder of the company, Orna Ross, and Orna's like, no. And she said, there's been some people that have offered them some stupid money before just to reverse their decision of whether they recommended it or not. You know, they're like, if you're not going according to our guidelines, we are not going to endorse you. And I think that speaks volumes about that at the company. Now, they have a bunch of different coupons, discounts, and services when you're a paid member. So for instance, all paid members will get 5 codes per month for Ingram Spark for waiving the upload fee. Now, that's about literally $245 worth of codes that you are using. Now, if you're an Ally member that's like a newbie, at the newbie level, I can't remember the name of it, newbie, but the cheapest level is $89. They don't have codes on that level. All right. So if you want codes, you're going to have to pay for either the Authorpreneur package or the top tier package. It's $119 or $149 per year. And here's the part that I want you to kind of think about. This is not me pressuring you into anything or making you feel like it will happen, but in instances of wrongful account suspensions and terminations, all you have to do is reach out to Ally if you're a paid member, and they will actually help you get your account reinstated, so long as you are still complying according to the terms and conditions of the KDP platform. Hey, you want to get a membership over to Ally? I highly recommend, please use my affiliate link, dalelinks.com/ally. Next site is actually number 9, Reedsy. Man, they are very similar to the last one in that it does give a lot of free content, and so much so that after a while you look over at their paid services and you go, man, I probably should consider getting that. Now, they have a ton of educational materials and resources. You get the opportunity. Ricardo Fayette actually sends out a weekly email newsletter through Reedsy, and it is always packed with great information. They never cloud your email inbox with a lot of unnecessary things. And I'm going to tell you, Reedsy is highly respected within the space. They really are a great bastion for the self-publishing community. They do things like cover design, interior formatting, editing. They even have like a free automated interior formatting tool on their site. I've heard nothing but good about them. And speaking of, they actually have a YouTube channel as well, and it has over 117,000 subscribers. Transitioning forward to number 10, the Kindlepreneur. Okay, folks, seriously, If you've not been paying attention to this podcast before and you've not heard of Kindlepreneur, I totally get it. So let me just explain this. Dave Chesson is a gentleman who is dubbed himself the Kindlepreneur, and he actually has a team of individuals that helps him curate content and provide a lot of free resources to the indie author community. Go over to their website for kindlepreneur.com. They've got free QR code generator, free barcode generator. There's an Amazon bestseller rank calculator where you can figure out how many sales is, for a given ABSR for that rank. So if you plug in, say, 10,000, it'll spit back and say you got to get 26 sales in a day. They have countless case studies and education materials. Not to mention, one of their most overlooked resources is their YouTube channel. Kindlepreneur on YouTube has been pumping out a lot of great information lately. And the funny thing is they have over 70,000 subscribers. I just personally think that they should be over to like 500,000 subscribers with just the great quality content that they have out there. Hey, speaking of quality content, just want, of course, do a very quick shout out and a plug to our sponsors, Miblart. Another thing about them that makes them completely different from their competitors is they provide authors with book cover designs for free. Yeah, that's right, for free if you want to envision your book cover before making an order. So they'll do like a first draft and say, hey, you like this? And if you do, you end up working with them. But Miblart's designers always analyze the genre and market to make sure the book cover design will fit the genre and the reader's expectations. That's important. It's not just about meeting your expectations, but we got to make sure that the readers like that. You want more details about Miblart? Visit my affiliate link at dalelinks.com/Miblart. That's Miblart. And if you use the coupon code DALE10, you get 10% off your next order. Final thoughts on all these other few resources that I've talked about. Yeah, there's quite a few other ones outside of that. We're not just limited to 10 things, folks. Keep digging, keep researching, become a student of the game. You don't have to always just pay attention to me, although I love that. That's fantastic. But try to consume more of this content. If you're not having that breakthrough success, keep looking for it. Diversify the information that you're bringing in, and I think that you're going to see much, much more success. Next week, folks, we're actually going to be talking about the best time to publish on Amazon KDP. This is a question a lot of people get hung up on. Should I put it on Tuesday? Or should I do it on Sunday? Or what do I need to do before I release on a given day? And what should I do on the day and after the day? We're going to talk all about timing in the very next podcast episode. To get advanced access to all of these podcasts, the audio version, you can actually get a video version when you go visit dalelinks.com/YouTube podcast 1 week before the audio content publishes. Every Monday at 12:15 p.m. Eastern Daytime, you actually get to chat with me and see how I record this whole process. Till later, this has been Self-Publishing with Dale, and I will catch you next week. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. Special shout out to my channel members for both the podcast channel and the main channel. Without your support, some projects we do at Self-Publishing with Dale would be much harder to fund. If you want to contribute to the cause, visit dalelinks.com/memberships for details and get your on-screen shout out at the end of each broadcast. Till later, this has been Self-Publishing with Dale, and I'll see you soon.